Hello friends, this is Professor Roshni Utwani from Bansanga Annamula College of Commerce and Economics. Today I am going to guide you through this video of mine for the topic of working capital. Many of my students are finding it difficult to understand the concept of this, especially for my BMM students. So I thought, why not to help you out friends, right from the basic step of it, that what is working capital, the introduction part of it. Why is it important to understand the working capital? How is it so important for any company? Then why you are going to, while you are estimating your working capital, what factors you need to consider, what would be its formula, and when you are thorough with this certain basic concept, you are good to go with its evaluation and practical problems. So I'll divide this video into two parts. First would be the basic understanding of the concept of working capital, and then once it is done, we'll get back to the practical problem. Let us start with the introduction part. What do you mean by working capital? But friends, before I get into it, let me explain this working capital management topic itself is divided into three parts. It talks about three things. First is working, second is capital, and third is its management. So what is this capital? Capital is nothing but the initial amount which is invested in any company. Initial fund, money with which you start your business is what is capital. Then what is this management? We need to manage this thing very carefully, isn't it? Tomorrow if you are starting up your own business, you would like to manage your funds properly so that you would be in a position to get good returns, right? So that is why capital management plays a very important role. But now these capitals are of two types. Let me explain you. That is fixed capital and working capital. So what is this fixed capital and working capital? To explain this, I'll take up a simple example which will make things more clear for you. That is, supposingly tomorrow we are starting up with the coaching class of our own. We'll start only when sufficient funds would be there. So first requirement is to gather the funds. Once we have done with it, we have decided, we have got sufficient fund to start with it. Say suppose 5 lakh is there in our hand. Now we need to think about how to utilize these funds properly, efficiently, so that we are able to make our business in a running condition and get a good returns, right? So now tell me, think and say, this amount, how you are going to utilize, what all things you are going to purchase first to start your business of coaching class. Yes, correct. You are going to invest first in chairs, benches to set up your coaching class environment, then blackboard, maybe a whiteboard depending upon the situation, how much funds you have and how much you can start with it. Then you'll go ahead and think about location, infrastructure, whether you are going to set up in your own premise for that or you are going to take a place on a rental basis. Then you are going to think about the lecturer to whom you are going to hire it, whether it would be paid on per day basis or monthly basis. Then you are going to think about the marker pen, stationery which would be required by the students as to be used as a study source material. Okay, so once this list is ready, now what all things would be required, how you are going to utilize this capital and invest it. Tell me friends, the amount which you are investing in these all things, we need to bifurcate this, whether it is our working capital or fixed capital. Benches, chairs, table, whiteboard which you are purchasing it, is it for a shorter time period? No, it's for your longer term period. Till your company exists, your amount is going to be blocked in this. It is for a longer period of time. Till you're running your business for a lifelong, this is going to be there. Because obviously we are not going to keep on changing it until and unless it is required. Not very frequently. Not within like 1 month, 2 months we'll change the entire setting. It's not possible because here we are running a business to get a good return. So such thing is known as fixed capital, which is fixed, with which you start your production. It is for a longer period of time, then that is called as fixed capital. What is working capital? Working capital is nothing but the initial cash which you invest to make your business, to bring your business into a running condition. Example with the same thing which we were thinking here. The amount which you have invested in buying stationery, marker pen and all, that would be considered as working capital. You might have hired a lecturer who's going to take a lecture. You'll be paying certain salary to that person, maybe per day basis or monthly basis. That would be called as working capital. Again, you are taking, say suppose area, you have taken a premise where you are running your coaching class business, but on the rental basis. So you are required to pay a rent which would be per month basis. That would be your working capital. In short, working capital is the capital with which you are starting your business operation. You are seeing to it that your business is in a running condition. It is for a shorter span of time, and it would be a recurring expenses. Again and again you are going to invest in it. Okay, so let me see this. Fixed capital is nothing but investment on durable goods like furniture, building. I already gave you an example. And second is working capital. What is working capital? Working capital is the sufficient amount of cash which you have invested to make your business, to bring your business into a running condition, and also to meet all your obligations through it. And so we say that working capital is a short-term plan of the company. Second thing which you need to remember is working capital is also known as circulating capital. Now why this capital is called as circulating capital? Because concentrate on the diagram. The money which you have invested in it, it will keep on rotating into the business. It would be rotated same again and again. Concentrate on the diagram for this purpose. Cash. You have started with the liquid money. You will invest cash into the business. Manufacturing work starts. You are going to purchase raw material. With the raw material, you will make a finished product. Once the finished product is ready, you are not going to stop here. You are going to sell those products into the market. When you are introducing your product into the market, you will start getting money for it. So again, that money would be reinvested. But do remember, when you are selling your goods into the market, there comes the picture of debtors and bills receivable. Now what are the debtors? All your customers are not going to buy on cash basis. Some of the customers would be ready to buy and make the payment in future. Such customers are known as debtors, who are buying your goods on the basis of credit, not on the basis of cash. Now we cannot rely on the debtors just by their word of mouth saying that they'll make a payment after 2 months or 3 months. We need a written promise from them, and that is in the form of bills receivable, which is also known as account receivable. So bill receivable, again after 2 months, when on the due date it would be taken care, you'll be getting cash. So we started with the cash, we made a product, we sold that product, again we are getting cash in hand. So this keeps on rotating in the business, and so we say it as that working capital is also known as circulating capital, because the money with which you have started will keep on rolling into the business to make your business or to bring your business into a running condition. Is it clear? So once your concept of working capital, the base is clear to you, let us understand why is it important for you guys to understand working capital. Because many of my BMM students always have a doubt, ma'am, we belong to BMM, getting into journalism, mass media, photography, cinematography, how come this subject of accountancy is introduced to us and how it's going to be helpful. But do remember friends, in any field you are, the basics of finance is not going to leave you. Everyone should know how to manage their funds properly so that you are in a better position. Let's get back to the topic of working capital, why this is important. I'll explain this with a very simple example of your own pocket money. Each and every student would be getting pocket money, right? Isn't it? Or you have started your own business, your startups are there. If that is the case, I'm really very happy. Great going, friends. Okay, suppose you are getting a pocket money and you are a well manager of your pocket money. What all things you are not going to face? What difficulties you will not be facing if you are a good manager of pocket money? Think for a minute. If you are a good manager of pocket money, what are difficulties you are not going to face? You are never going to face a shortage of cash because you'll always have funds with you. You are never going to resort on borrowing. आप किसी friend से borrow नहीं करोगे because you are a good manager of your own pocket money. You'll always have the cash in hand. If suppose there is any uncertainty, any crisis, any difficult situation arises, you'll be having a backup plan. Your cash, your money, your returns would be there with you. You can invest it, right? So पॉकेट मनी को ही अगर हमने अच्छे से मैनेज किया तो इतना स्मूथली वर्क हो सकता है. मुझे बोरो नहीं करना पड़ता है. मैं फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस को सिचुएशन को देख सकती हूँ. ऑल ऑफ सडन कुछ मुझे किसी को गिफ्ट देना है, मनी देना है, आई डोंट हैव टू बोरो इट बिकॉज ऑलरेडी मेरे पिकी बैंक में मनी जमा किया है मैंने. मेरे पास सफिशिएंट पॉकेट मनी है. आई एम मैनेजिंग इट वेरी वेल. Let's take this example and correlate with importance of working capital. Similarly, if a company manages its capital, which capital? Working capital, properly, what benefits it's going to get? It's going to get the good liquidity. It's never going to face a problem of shortage of liquidity. Good amount of cash would be there, so they don't have to resort to borrowings. If borrowings is not there, there won't be a burden of interest, because when it comes borrowings, that means we need to part with our extra amount, that is cash. So if आपका रिटर्न्स देना नहीं है, इंटरेस्ट नहीं देना है आउटसाइडर्स को, आपको एक्स्ट्रा मनी से पार्ट नहीं करना, दैट मीन्स यू विल बी हैविंग अ गुड रिटर्न्स एंड प्रॉफिट्स विद यू. Good returns and profits, that means goodwill is there in the market. Goodwill is there in the market. You are going to give good returns to your shareholders. And if suppose any financial crisis or situation arises, like say take an example of this COVID-19. Now the businesses are running slowly, or it's almost some of the business shut down for a period while. But is it that when they are going to open, it would be a problem for liquidity cash? It depends. If they are the well manager of their working capital, they have a sufficient fund, they can again restart within a fraction of seconds. So if you have managed your funds properly, there is not going to be any financial crisis. Last but not the least, it also improves your solvency. What do you mean by solvency? When a person's assets are more and liability is less, is known as solvency. Simple words में, अगर आप अपने पैसों को रीपे कर सकते हो, आपके कर्जे इतने नहीं हैं, then that would be called as your solvency. So it also improves solvency because you have sufficient funds with you and you don't have to resort to any borrowings. Let us understand now this. From here we are starting with the practical part, that is how to estimate working capital. What is the formula for it? The formula for working capital is current assets minus current liability. Please remember, this topic carries 15 marks, easy to score. Just thing is, you need to remember format, valuation and formula. So very first, formula, current assets minus current liability. Now what all items are included under current asset? What do you mean by current asset? Let me explain that. There are two types of asset, current assets and fixed asset. Asset means any type of a property which is owned by the proprietor. Okay? It could be fixed. Fixed like equipments, building, furniture. These are fixed assets of the company. Current assets which can be easily converted into cash, very quickly converted into cash. Example over here, raw material. Raw material, you are buying it through the cash. Within a few days it would be converted into finished goods and it could be sold in the market. When you are selling it, again you will get cash. So this cycle of cash, you are getting cash quickly. You are investing cash, you are getting cash quickly. That is known as short-term period, and so it is known as current asset. Bills receivable, again I said negotiable instrument, it's kind of a promissory, you can say. Debtors, customers to whom you have sold goods but payment is yet to receive from them, and that could be after 2 months, 3 months, the time period which company has said, but you are going to get cash. So cash जो invest किया है quickly मिलने वाला है, तो मेरा asset है. Advances, अगर मैंने raw material purchase करने के लिए suppliers को कुछ advance दे रखा है पहले से ही, but अभी तक goods नहीं लिया है, raw material नहीं लिया है, then that would be called as again your current assets. So please remember the format. Under current asset, what all items are included. Next is current liabilities. What do you mean by current liability? Liability is nothing but the amount which we owe it to the outsiders, which we need to pay. You can say कर्जा, जिस जो हमें बाहर वालों से लिया है अभी पे करना है. What all items are included under current liability? Creditors, that is suppliers from whom you have purchased goods but on the basis of credit. Please mind the words which I am saying it. Credit basis, not cash. बिल्स पेएबल, जैसे बिल्स रिसीवेबल होता है इन टर्म्स ऑफ डेटर्स, क्रेडिटर्स से रिलेटेड एसोसिएटेड बिल्स पेएबल होता है बिकॉज हियर वी नीड टू मेक अ पेमेंट. वी आर प्रॉमिसिंग इट टू द आउटसाइडर, लुक आफ्टर सो एंड सो डेट आई एम गोइंग टू मेक अ पेमेंट. आउटस्टैंडिंग, दैट मीन्स येट to be paid. I have to pay. I have not yet paid this amount. It is outstanding. Bank overdraft, it is for a shorter term period. I have taken a loan from a bank, you can say. So do remember friends, what all items are included under current assets and current liabilities and formula of working capital. Once this is done, let's move on to a very important part which will help you to solve your practical problem, and that is format. Format of working capital. Please do concentrate on this. How do we prepare? First would be particulars. Second column, units, rate, time period and amount. Under particulars, how do I get answer for working capital? Current assets minus current liability. Correct. So first step, calculate current asset. How to do that? Format is fixed for all sums, so you can remember it actually. Under current asset, stock. What kind of a stock? First is raw material, work starts, so WIP, work in progress, then you get a finished goods. So 3 types of stock. Then debtors, to whom you are selling goods but money is yet to receive. Then comes your bills receivable, advances. You'll get the total of current assets. A part. B part. How do you calculate current liabilities? Creditors, that is suppliers to whom you have made a payment. Outstanding expenses, it could be labor, it could be overhead, that depends upon the problem. Bank overdraft, bills payable. Friends, you can jumble up with this items under current liability, but all these items are included under current liability which you need to remember. So make a total, you'll get total of current liability. From current assets, minus the answer of current liability, and you are good to go with the answer of working capital. Now, the answer which I am getting is estimated working capital. That means it's not correct figure. It is just an estimation. If it is just an estimation, it could be more or it could be less. So to decide on that factor, there would be something called safety margin to be on a safer zone. So that percentage I need to add with my working capital in order to get the answer for required working capital. Once the format is clear, let's see how each items under this is valued. There is 3 working notes which you need to remember it very well to solve the problem. Once problem is there in front of you, first step, prepare the format. Second, get your working note ready. How many parts? 3 parts of working note. First is units produced and sold. This information would be given in the problem itself in terms of year. You need to convert it into month or week depending upon the adjustments. If adjustments is given in week, you will find out first how many units is produced per week. एक week में कितना units बनता है. If it is in terms of month, you are going to find out how many units are produced in per month. How to do that? Total units answer, which would be given year 1 divided by 12 if it is month. Total units answer divided by divided by 52 if you want to find it out for per week, because in a year there are 52 weeks. In a year, 12 months. So it depends upon your adjustment. Second working note, you need to concentrate on WIP. WIP, that is work in progress, you need to prepare its cost structure. Now when you are preparing WIP cost structure, friends, please remember, when any manufacturing activity is undertaken, there is 3 types of basic cost. आप अगर कोई मैन्युफैक्चरिंग वर्क स्टार्ट कर रहे हो, प्रोडक्शन स्टार्ट कर रहे हो, सबसे पहला आप क्या करोगे? सबसे पहले तो आप मनी जमा करोगे. ओके, then with that money you are going to purchase raw material. Okay, then you are going to think who is going to start my work of production. That means I'm going to think about labor, so I'll be paying wages to them. Then I'll think about other direct expenses which is directly correlated to my product, which we call it as overhead. So 3 type के cost involved होता है in any manufacturing activity. The basic is raw material, labor cost and overhead cost. When your work is still in the working condition, it is in process, it is not yet completed, consider 100% raw material cost but 50% labor and 50% overhead. This is an assumption for each and every problem. Question would be why, right? Why do we do that? Let me give you an example over here. If suppose I have hired a person and given a contract to put a floor tiles in one of my room. The person is going to buy raw material for that room. Floor tiles would be purchased, which would be a raw material. Is it that person going to buy that 2 tiles per day I'm going to do? So in this day only 2 tiles is required, go and get it 2 tiles. Then again second day 2 tiles is required, go and buy 2 tiles. No, company is not going to do that. Company, what does they do? They purchase entire raw material, whatever is required in bulk. So raw material would be 100% cost. It's not going to be ordered in parts, it would be ordered at once. But what about the labor? It's human tendency. Are we going to make entire payment on the first day itself? Labor काम करने आया है, वो कितना भी काम करे, forget about it, उसको पूरा पैसा दे दो. What you will think? Next day आएगा ही नहीं तो. So that is why we pay labor only for the work which has been completed. And now in this problems we assume that 50% work is completed for labor, so and 50% for overheads. Now until and unless specified you will consider 50. If problem specified 40%, you are going to consider 40. Okay. Finished goods. Finished goods, that means your product is ready now. If it is ready, you are going to value this on the basis of total cost. What is total cost? Raw material, labor and overhead cost. So you are going to take a total of all these 100% cost. That would be your cost per unit for finished goods. Okay. Then debtors. Debtors are none other than customers to whom we have sold goods on the basis of credit. 2 things you need to remember. Debtors related to sales, valued at sales. Which sales? Only credit sales. Please note, only credit sales. Total cost plus profit, give me sales and I need to take care of that. It should be only credit sales. Now creditors. Creditors means supplier from whom I am purchasing my raw material, and that should be valued only at total cost. Okay. Then comes your outstanding expenses. Outstanding expenses would be valued at respective expense. If it is outstanding labor, it would be valued at labor cost. If it is outstanding overhead, it would be valued at overhead cost per unit. I hope this part is clear to you. Once this valuation part is clear for you all guys, I would like to start with practical problem so that it becomes easy for you all to understand practically also that how do we go about with it. Now when we are solving practical problems, friend, you should be thorough with certain steps. First is you should know format. Second, working note. Under working note, 3 parts: units produced and sold. Second is cost structure of WIP. Third is cost structure of total cost. That is cost structure, totally original cost structure. Let us understand. Say suppose there is one company, MP Industries Limited, who desire to calculate or estimate working capital, how much would be the requirement for the year 2018. But they have given you information that the output which is produced and sold is 1,30,000 units in a year, annually. That means in a year. Okay. First working note. Remember, अगर units year में दिया है, I need to convert that into month or week depending upon adjustment. So you can see here, friends, your adjustment. Each adjustment is given over here in terms of Each adjustment is given in terms of weeks: 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 weeks. So every information is in terms of week. If it is in terms of week, I'm going to find out how many units is produced per week. Okay. Second, selling price is given in terms of rupees. For 1 unit it is 250. How much is the cost? Material cost they have given in percentage: 40%, wages 20%, overheads 12%, and margin. A margin, that means profit, is 28%. Let's start with the working note. First working note, units produced. So how much was your units in a year? 1,30,000. Adjustment says week, so divide it by 52, because in a year 52 week is there. I'll get 2,500 per week. So this is my first working note, first and foremost step which I need to do. Once this is clear, it would be easy for me to solve the problem. Second is cost structure. Under cost structure, how do I prepare? This is my original cost structure, friends. Raw material plus labor plus overhead, that gives me total cost. To remember, while adding all these three, it will give me my total cost. Once I get the total cost, add the element of profit and I'll get sales. They have given every information as per the problem: 40%, 20, 12, so total 72, 28 was margin, that is gross profit, and sales 100%. This is been given in the problem. Now sales answer is given, which is 250. 100% के लिए अगर rupees 250 आता है, then for 40% how much will it be? Cross multiply, or simply remember, each and every cost act as a certain percentage of sales. So raw material 40%. 40% of what? 250, which is selling price. So 40%, 40 upon 100 into 250, that comes to 100. Labor 20%, so 20 into 250, I'll get 50. These are my cost per unit. Okay. Once I'm done with the cost per unit, concentrate on third working note, that is WIP cost. For WIP, do remember, labor is taken at 50 and overhead is taken at 50. Raw material should be taken at 100, but this too is taken at 50% cost. So raw material cost per unit was how much? 100. 100% comes to same. Labor 50%. How much was the original? 50. Uska half, 50%, 25. Overheads kitna tha? 30. Uska 50%, that is half, which is 15. So add all three, that comes to 140. Once this cost structure is easy, believe me friends, it is good to just substitute in your original working capital sheet. It will take only fraction of seconds now to solve the problem. अगर वर्किंग नोट समझ गया, फॉर्मेट मालूम है, योर फॉर्मूला इज क्लियर, यू कैन सॉल्व. व्हाट यू आर सपोज टू राइट ऑन टॉप? स्टेटमेंट ऑफ वर्किंग कैपिटल. फॉर्मेट ऑलरेडी आपने बनाया होगा. पहला होगा करंट एसेट्स, उसके अंदर आइटम्स लिख दोगे, टोटल करंट एसेट मिलेगा. करंट लाइबिलिटीज कैसे मिलता है? क्रेडिटर्स, बिल्स रिसीवेबल, बैंक ओवरड्राफ्ट, आउटस्टैंडिंग एक्सपेंसेस, you'll get total current liability. Both the answer when you will subtract, you'll get the working capital. So now first, stock of raw material. यूनिट्स कितना लिखेंगे हम? 2500 पर यूनिट, विच इज बिन ऑलरेडी कैलकुलेटेड पर वीक. रेट, कॉस्ट स्ट्रक्चर देखो, ओरिजिनल कॉस्ट स्ट्रक्चर, रॉ मटेरियल इज 100, सो आई विल बी राइटिंग 100. फॉर टाइम पीरियड, टाइम पीरियड कहाँ से मिलेगा? आई विल गेट द टाइम पीरियड फ्रॉम क्वेश्चन itself. If you could see under adjustment, it says your raw material stock is 2 weeks. 2 weeks is my time period. So getting back to the step, 2 would be written under period. Now I need to multiply all these three amounts, that is raw material cost. How will I get raw material cost? I need to multiply units per week, rate, time period, and I'll get the answer for amount. It's just a multiplication of all these three. Do remember, I need to multiply. Next is stock of WIP. Stock of WIP कैसे मिलेगा? 2500. Again units remain same. WIP का cost we have calculated in working note number 3, which comes to 140. Right there 140. How much is the time period? Go back and check in the problem. Third adjustment says processing time is 2 weeks. So I'm going to write there time period 2. Multiply, you'll get the answer. Finished goods 2500. Finished goods is valued at total cost. Which total cost? Be very careful. You need to see original cost structure. WIP cost structure would already have been taken care under WIP calculation. So total cost kitna aaya? 180. That you will write under finished goods. Then you need to consider time period, which is there in your adjustment. Finished goods 4 weeks, so you are going to consider 4. Multiply, you'll get the answer. Debtors, this is very important where you commit a mistake, friends. Debtors 2500 you will write under per week. Rate, debtors are valued at sales. If you could see under working note number 2, my sales is 250. But do check in the problem whenever it is debtors and creditors whether any information pertaining to cash has been mentioned. See your adjustment number 1. Cash transactions are 25% of sales. That means sales का 25% already cash पे है. So if 25% transactions you have sold on basis of cash, that means remaining 75% is only on the basis of credit. So only 75% would be called as your debtors. So 250 का 75% लोगे. आपका time period problem में दिया है. Check under adjustment. It says credit allowed and enjoyed. Adjustment number 4 is 4 week. So I'm going to write 4. Multiply, I'll get the answer. Cash and bank balance would always be given directly for you. As I said, it's for BMM basic level. So cash and bank balance 8,51,250 that you are going to write directly. Make a total, you'll get total current assets. Next is current liabilities, under which first is creditors. First you will write units, same 2500. Creditors, that means suppliers from whom you have purchased raw material. So take the cost structure. Raw material cost 100. So I'm going to write 100. As I said, debtors and creditors. Do remember to check in the problem. First adjustment says 20% for purchases. That means cash में purchase किया है कितना? 20%. If 20% के लिए अपनी immediate payment किया है, that means कौन से payment बाकी है? 80%. So I'm going to consider only 80%, that is credit purchases. Multiply it by time period, which is there in your question itself. 4, you'll get the answer. Outstanding. Outstanding कैसे पता चलेगा? See your adjustment number 5th. Time lag. Time lag, that means money is yet to be paid. Wages को कितने टाइम का देना है? 2 week का. और overheads वालों को 3 week का payment देना बाकी है. So write under your liability, outstanding wages 2500. Cost, which rate you will consider? WIP rate? No. You are going to consider original cost structure. Labor कितना था? 50. So you'll write 50. Overheads कितना था? Check in your adjustment working note. Sorry, your overhead was 30. So you'll write 30. Multiply by time period. You'll get the amount. Once amount is done, make a total. Total current assets मिल गया. Total of current liabilities मिल गया. That means answer of A is there in front of you. And answer of B. If this 2 part is there with you, I need to get working capital. How do I get current assets minus current liability? Apply the formula and you will get 44,51,250 as your answer for working capital. Now friends, possibility is there in a problem, they can give you safety margin. Then add that percentage of safety margin and you'll get the required working capital. I hope friends this practical problem is clear to you. If at all there is any doubt, if at all you are not able to understand, please write in the comment section. Whenever I'm free, I'll check it and answer it to you. Or you can get back to me on my WhatsApp number. I'll help you out friends. If at all you're facing any difficulty, any simple doubt also, you can contact me. I'll help you out. Now let's see the second problem. This is for your practice, but I'll just explain. 72,000 is the units production, but if you could see, it is for a year. As this is given for year, first working note says convert this as per the adjustment, and adjustment is all, if you could see, is in month. So I need to divide this by 12, because in a year 12 months. I'll get units produced and sold. First working note is done. Second, cost structure, again same type they have given. Everything is in terms of percentage, but they have given you sales per unit, selling price per unit. So you can get a cost structure. Third would be WIP. WIP cost structure, only one thing you need to remember, labor and overhead you need to take at 50%. 3 working notes are ready. Then prepare the format. Format is ready. Substitute and you'll get the answer. Is it clear? Now this I have kept as blank because you guys are going to work on it. You are going to practice. One more thing I would like you all to do it for me. Just go to this link. You won't be able to copy as it's a video, but yes, you can just type this in your Chrome and get this Google form. It contains a small test on the working capital. Around 10 questions are there, just to check that those students who are seeing my video, is this concept of working capital clear to you? So to get it confirmed, I have kept this test online open for you to see how many of my students have made an attempt and how many of the students have understood the concept. It's a very simple test if you have paid a thorough attention for it. I hope